Welcome,
There he
Pulse of
is.
the Heartland. Yeah, there he is.
I'm here. 1 second to spare.
We're a
Nice.
little behind the scenes here. Trent likes to run razor thin on our start time here, so he was
That-
literally sprinting around getting that jacket on.
That was as close as you could get. Like literally 1 second, I sat down in my chair.
Ooh,
Love it.
well, what a great start here. Well, I'd say welcome to College Football Pod for Pulse of the Heartland. We got a lot to break down. It's a lot of good, a lot of bad that's happened this last week. How you guys feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Same here. Joey, how about you?
It's a Cyclone state. Good for you guys.
Okay,
I mean,
now
it
that right there means a lot, Joey. I
I know.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
We do
I mean,
appreciate it.
if we said it last week, and some Hawkeye fans are just shitty, I try not to be. So
I appreciate it. You know what? And the same thing. Some Cyclone fans are shitty, but me and Bryant, we try not to be.
yeah, well, work. You need to work.
Sometimes it's hard to do.
You need to work on it. It's all right.
I am in my private chats, but not out here. I'm a very nice and welcoming Cyclone fan.
Yeah.
So, but no, you boys sipping on anything?
Go ahead, Joey.
I'm not. I've had work meetings, so I'm in Vegas. Sorry, I missed the pod last night. Who would have thought that getting out here, I am more busy this week when I'm trying to go on vacation than any week so far. So I've had meetings. I'm actually going to jump off here after about a half hour and go to another meeting, a dinner meeting tonight. So yeah, it's one thing after another out here in Sin City. But I'll put it this way. I'm a degenerate. Vegas is my favorite place. I haven't gambled or had any alcohol since I got here Sunday at midnight.
Proud of you, buddy. Holding some restraint there.
Oh, I'm not fucking proud. I'm pissed. I hate it.
Okay, there we go.
Joey says he's missing the pod because he's got meetings. He's actually rolling dice.
Playing craps. I'm lucky 7.
Rolling dice and snorting coke.
Oh,
all that good
Jesus.
stuff.
That
I
is
said no
not-
alcohol.
Well, just to kind of gloat a little bit more, the drink I'm doing is the Clone Fest for Back Pocket. I drank it last night. I got 4 more cans of it, so we'll get through that here. But since you got 30 minutes, let's kind of jump into it. The trivia question. Oh, what do you got, Trent? Sorry.
Water.
Water. Oh,
Just
Jesus.
some reverse osmosis, Brandon, pinky up water.
Some of that delicious H2O here.
Mm.
Well, here's the trivia question I got, and I'm sorry, Joey, this is going to be a lot of anti-Hawk here, but
I don't blame you.
trivia question here is, with Iowa's lackluster offense, they right now are the worst offensive yards per game in college football, but their tremendous defense, they are 6th in the fewest yards per game, and they're tied for 8th in the points per game here. They've become only the second team since 1979 who has scored and allowed 10 points or less in the first 2 games of the season. Can you name the other? By the way, you won't. This is just a interesting stat.
By the way, you won't.
I looked at the agenda, so I already know.
Oh,
Okay, I
You had it on here.
it was 1979 McNeese State out of Louisiana there.
Damn.
So on the McNeese State Cowboys, they ended going 11-1, and they lost to Syracuse 31-7 in the Independence Bowl. So
Look at you with the hidden answers, Dwight Schrute. If I'd have known I had to pee on my paper, I would have seen it.
well, please don't do that. That is just the easiest way for me not to have to write it anywhere else on the agenda here. So
No,
yeah, I
to actually guess, I was going to say either one of the fucking Nebraska black shirt teams that ran the option back in the 90s, or one of the Penn State teams with LeVar Arrington, because I know their offenses weren't great, but yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, I'd say so. At least again, everyone talks about how bad the offense is. I mean, that defense is incredible, dude. I'm saying, and we haven't played much competition, but I bet you, I guarantee that continues with Nevada this week. But we'll kind of jump into it. Like I said, I know we have very limited time here, so. Officially a Cyclone state, like we said. Iowa State did beat Iowa 10-7 on the road, and that might have been the messiest game I've ever seen in my life.
It was beautiful.
Only beautiful because it's El Assico and it's Iowa State. That's the only reason why it'd be beautiful. If you turned in and watched that, that game on any other. If that's whack, you'd be like, "What in the fuck is going on that game?"
I believe I said that last night on the podcast, like, because, Clark and Ryan run with us, like, they're not Iowa fans. They're not Iowa State fans. I said, if I were those guys, I would have turned it off. But
Mhm.
if it was Iowa and Iowa State, I'm keeping that on the whole time. It was ugly. Like, Iowa State finally out Iowa. And that never happens, ever. That's why it was beautiful to me.
Okay, Joey, how'd you feel on it?
Iowa plays Nevada this weekend. I'm really looking forward to that. Nevada just lost to Incarnate Word. I think that they're going to piss pound. No, it was fucking. It's everything we thought it was. If I remember right, I bet you guys that Iowa would hold Iowa State under 17 points. Come to find out, the whole game is under 17 points. So yeah, there's that. And I can't put into words how terrible it feels to watch that Iowa offense and being a Hawkeye fan. It had to have been frustrating for you guys being Iowa State fans, knowing that Iowa's defense is so good and that you only had so many opportunities to score. And then Iowa just kept pissing it down their leg for you guys. And then you guys would just piss it down your leg right back. Like, that has to suck.
I was telling you before the pod, but seriously, Joey, like when I was texting that group chat, I was so upset. I was just going, "Can someone win this game either way?"
Yep.
And it was just going down to the last minute of we'd do a drive all the way to the half-yard line, we fumble it because we jump into our own tight end. You guys get to the half-yard line, fumble it, interceptions. Right. Started getting rain late in the game. It was brutal.
Yeah, we were watching it in the pool over at Jack's in-laws, and I'm pretty sure my niece and nephews learned some new words coming from me. So, yeah, it was a fun day being in the pool time and stuff, but it was a terrible day watching the game.
I think. Go ahead, Trent.
So I said it on the pod last night. Where any other time Iowa State's in the game like that, like, I'm just pessimistic. I'm waiting for them to lose the game. I'm like, we're losing this. Mm-hmm. And I just, this whole game, I just had this calm. I'm like, Iowa State's going to pull this out. I don't know why I had that feeling, because any other day, that is not the feeling any Iowa State fan has, because they got their Iowa State branded nut cup on. Like, we're just waiting for that big kick in the nuts.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you guys felt it when I was texting back and forth, and Ryan's like, "Hey, there could be another turnover." Like, no, it's not. Like, I've seen this too often, and it was finally the one where it finally went our way. But yeah, that was just absolutely brutal. And Campbell, I mean, that shows you how amazing that was. Campbell's beat every Big 12 team, including Oklahoma, Texas, all these perennial brands that are leaving. He beat all of them before he could finally beat fucking Iowa. So gets the monkey off his back. I go from 6-6 this year. I'm feeling like we're going 8-4 now.
Kudos to Iowa on that. I mean, like I said, like you just said, they beat every other team. Couldn't beat Iowa. Finally. Yeah. 7 years later.
Right. And I like how you said 8-4. I believe I predicted 9-3 at the beginning of the season. And with this offense, we'll probably beat Nevada this weekend, probably, in quotation marks. Man, that Big Ten West is going to be hard because there's some decent defenses and our offense is fucking terrible. Ohio State's going to hang 70 on us, probably. And it's only going to be in the second half because our offense won't be able to get the defense off the field, and they're just going to be tired. So,
well, let's just jump into that, Joey. Where does Iowa go from here? Because we got a few kind of jokey things to talk about, but I mean, like you said, I mean, Kirk is staying with Petrus, which I can kind of respect the move right now. I mean, everything has been he kind of got a little, I would say, grumpy at the press conference and goes, "Well, I am the head coach and I'm making this decision because I'm doing what's best for our team," and kind of got a little short with media. But how are you? I guess, where do you go from here?
As an Iowa fan, I get so tired of his loyalty to shit and then putting other people in doghouses. Yeah, there's been a lot of players that have come through that system that seemed really flashy, really fast, didn't fit in his offense for some reason. I don't know how that happens. And I used to think it was a racial thing, and I don't think it is anymore. Look what Charlie Jones is doing at Purdue. That motherfucker had 3 catches all of last year. He's leading the nation in receiving and touchdowns right now. Like he's a legit threat, and I don't know. It's hard to watch this and then have Ferentz's back. Right now, the only people on that staff that I have their back would be the defense and special teams or coaches. Like, Phil Parker.
Woods, right?
Yep, LeVar Woods. Like, I would not be. I don't support the Ferentz side either one of them at all. Like, I don't know what they're doing. The game plan looks stale, as it always has. And if Petrus is good and that's who you're sticking with, open up the playbook. Like, he is a second-year starter. Let him make the mistakes. At least show us that you're trying to make the team better. Right now, we're standing pat. We'll get through this. We're going to weather the storm. Sometimes ships fucking sink, man. And right now, that offense is going down very fast. It's sinking faster than the Titanic.
Yep. I brought this up to you before as well. Now, it's been on a couple radio shows, so I want to get your take on this. Does Kirk stick with Petrus? Because if he brings in Padilla and the same thing happens versus a Nevada versus who's your first Big Ten team?
I have to look it up just a second. It is Rutgers.
At Rutgers. If he would put in Padilla in the next 2 games and nothing improves, do you feel that he's sticking with Petrus? Because then it just doesn't become, oh, well, we're doing bad because Petrus is bad. You know, if you put in the other guy that's had experience, it almost feels like it's a systemic problem. Now he's not cultivating this talent that he's bringing in and making a quarterback better. You know, we've seen what he can do with linemen and tight ends, but is he developing that talent then?
Well, unfortunately, it looks like this year it might be the line that's letting us down. The quarterbacks are getting pressured, and no offense to Iowa State, but you guys didn't have a vaunted defensive line like you did last year, and man, they got to him quite a bit during the game. So I honestly think it's already showing that it's a systemic problem on offense, and I don't think it's a talent thing. I think it's a stale playbook. Everyone's able to guess and know what the hell we're going to do. So for me, a show of good faith towards the fan base would to put Padilla in, no matter what happens. And then if it doesn't work out, be like, I told you guys he's not good enough to play. And then you would quiet a lot of the fan base. I don't know. I don't know how he saves face at this point with that. I know it's only 2 games in the season and it sounds like the sky is falling, but Bryant's going to get into some stats here in a little bit that are just mind-blowingly bad and like historically terrible. And it's just, I don't know where they go from here. But yeah, to answer your question, I guess that's what he's doing. I don't know why you would. I've never seen a coach stick with a quarterback. Usually it's the first person that gets yanked if they're doing terrible. I mean, look at all the quarterbacks by committee that are going around the country. Like, if you're not going to go in the transfer portal and try and find a big recruit, like I mentioned earlier and other podcasts, then pick the other people that you have on your roster. There was a 4-star recruit from Florida that just signed a letter of intent. He's a junior. Everyone's like, oh, can he start Saturday, blah, blah, blah. My first thought was, kid, you're going to be transferring right away. Like, or you better work on your hands because you're going to be a tight end or a receiver because he will not stick you in there and not play your type of game, bud. So
yeah. I did find that interesting that it's like, we're bringing in a dual threat. It's like, Kirk's only going to do one thing. It's not like he's just going to spread it wide open. All of a sudden you're doing speed option. You're doing off tackle and tight end pop.
Yeah, you can be a dual threat player all you want, but you're not a dual threat system. So you're just kind of fucked. Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah. To answer your question, who the fuck knows? But I think that could be the only explanation.
I mean, it made sense to me when I heard it. It was all of a sudden and that's almost loyal and just being shitty about it though too. Is I'm starting you because all of a sudden I'll look terrible if I change you. You know. Yep.
Exactly.
So, Trent, did you have anything before we just power through these terrible stats and then we can just get the negative Iowa stuff behind us?
I think Iowa needs to change. Petrus ain't getting her done. Like,
I was just gonna say, do you mean quarterback, coach, offensive coordinator? Where?
All of the above. D. Okay. All the above. So, no, go ahead with those stats, Bryant.
Okay. So the Iowa offense is awful stats. Right now, ranked 131 out of 131. We've all heard that one. They're averaging 150 yards per game. That is just shy of 75 yards less than 130th ranked New Mexico State Aggies. They're a vaunted offense over there. So far, Iowa has scored. They've scored 14 points all year. That would be six less than Navy and UMass. And Colorado is the next lowest Power 5 team at 23 points, so they've doubled Iowa's, or almost doubled. And then Wisconsin is the next lowest Big Ten team at 52 right now. So, first off, I don't want to see the Iowa-Wisconsin game. It would be the Masters Week. It would be a great nap to take.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, the last one that I had is Iowa only has 201 passing yards this year. Right now, Navy only has 234, so only 33 yards more in 2 games. Not bad, but that's on 8 receptions. So, I mean, just absolutely brutal. But one good sign, and I noticed that our Kansas State fan joined here, that is more than Adrian Martinez in Kansas State here.
Oh, my.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the Kansas fan here.
He's not a Kansas State fan anymore.
Yeah. How does it feel to have the highest average scoring offense in the country?
Well, Bryant, if you may have noticed, the Jayhawks have been working hard to score enough to make up for the lack of Iowa State scoring lately. I feel like they're doing a pretty good job.
Iowa State scoring? We scored 42 in week 1. What are you or you mean Iowa?
I mean, you both can't move the ball, so.
Oh, okay. Well,
okay.
This is why 2-0. This team hasn't won 2 games in the last decade. 2-0, and all of a sudden, uppity pinkies up, drinking a Mick Ultra. What the fuck are you drinking there?
Coca-Cola.
Oh,
Nothing
Coca-Cola.
but the best, Bryant.
Oh, shit.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, that was a hell of a game. Did they actually count that last touchdown? Did you win by 14? Or did they say since
13.
it was an interception, the game was done?
No extra point. 13.
13. Excellent. So
Bad beat if anybody. Well, I don't even know what the spread was. It don't matter. They weren't expected to win.
Yeah,
I'm guessing KU covered the spread.
14-point underdog.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
yeah.
Hell of a good job by the Jayhawks there, man.
Who the Jayhawks have this week?
Houston. In Houston.
What's the outcome going to be, Clark?
We're on a hot streak, baby. You don't get off a heater. You stick with it.
All right.
I guarantee that game goes to overtime because Houston has only played overtime games this year. Houston
Guaranteed.
Texans and Cougars.
Wow.
It's going to be a good test for Coach Leopold. Here we go.
Future Nebraska coach Leopold. Amazing.
God,
No,
even
no.
your coach's name sounds douchey.
We've seen the reports. That's Matt Campbell.
Yeah.
He is odds-on favorite right now. I don't think either one goes, to be honest. I don't think it's – I mean, if you want to build your team right, I think you would bring one of those two in. I think Nebraska's proven they would rather win and bring back a Pelini, in my opinion, than you would build it right, and you're still a few years out at this point.
So here's my thing. Why would either one go? Like I said in the tweet the other day when I was ready to battle with a Nebraska fan, why would Campbell go? They're going to build a statue for Campbell in Ames if he keeps doing what he's doing and get fired the first chance he could get in Lincoln. Now, Leopold in KU, why would he go to Nebraska? If he keeps doing what he's doing at KU, I think he's doing a great job. 5 games winning this year would be a huge success, and then build off that in Lawrence. Whereas if you go to Nebraska, you do more of the same, you're getting fired in 2 years.
Yeah, we got that Big Ten money coming in, though. So the only thing I could see would be the guaranteed coach money now that NIL is a big thing. You know, they can pay less in scholarships and pay the coach more. That'd be the only thing.
But
Go ahead.
What is the coach money? Because Campbell, he turned down like $8 million a year to coach the Lions. So what? I mean, Nebraska, what are they going to give him?
I think Nebraska. Go ahead.
Are you talking Dan Campbell?
Matt Campbell was offered $8 million to coach the Lions. He turned
the
it down.
Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions.
Wow, I'm sorry, that's news to me. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's I suppose for, as you're saying, I think money means less to people like Campbell and Kirk Ferentz when he turned down NFL stuff. So I think I agree with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like that's the only reason that I would go to Nebraska over a different school. Like I don't know. I think Nebraska should take a real up and coming coach. Has got his head on a swivel and is very good at what he's doing. And Brian Ferentz is right for the picking. Just take him.
You'd have free movers. He would be moved there in less than 8 hours. That includes travel time. Unpack his house, get him over there.
Hell yeah. They'd move that faster than his team could move the ball down the field.
It'd take him a decade to get to Nebraska. You kidding me?
I mean, I personally think if you're Nebraska, though, I think one you're going to have all the Big Ten money coming in, but your alumni base just paid an extra $7.5 million to get rid of a guy 3 weeks early. So right now the money's flowing. They are going to pay whatever they want. I mean, some names that I've been kind of looking around. I think you look at like a Josh Huppel for Tennessee, or Hupel. I'm probably saying his name wrong. The other one that I've heard float around and I think makes sense more than Campbell and Leopold is Dave Aranda for Baylor. He's won the Big 12. Matt Campbell can't say he has. Leopold's still building it. But Dave Aranda has turned a program around quick, and he's done it the right way. And he's done it after an Art Briles rape accusations. This is a lot easier than just saying, we have Scott. Not only the team was bad, but he had that. Scott Frost was just bad, and you have talent there. I mean, I think Dave Aranda, I think Nebraska, whoever they want, they're going to bring their checkbook out and go, you tell us no. You tell us how you turn away this many zeros at this point.
Yeah. For me, Dave Aranda would be tough because Baylor's a private school and they can pay him whatever the fuck the boosters want to pay him anyway. That's a tough get there. But I like the Josh Heupel one. We'll see how Tennessee turns up this year, but that's a good one there. And every time we say Leopold, all I could think of Leopold Stotch from South Park. Butters, in case anyone doesn't know that.
Leopold Stotch.
Exactly.
Joe, you weren't on the
pod
last night.
In the butt. I said what in the butt.
Joey, I have to ask you because you weren't on the pod last night. What do you think of Urban Meyer to Nebraska?
I mean, it'd be one of the names that could make me hate them more. So, bye, Leopold.
I would say I agree. I think it'd be one that'd make you hate more. But I mean, again, he's won the Big Ten. He hasn't proven greatly, but I mean, Ohio State's been paying their players for years. He knows how to handle this new NIL shit. I think he makes perfect sense for Nebraska. You want to win now, bring him in. And bring in the winning.
So if the other stuff with the Jags wouldn't have come out about him just having a terrible working environment and stuff, like if he could have just told 18, 19-year-old kids, hey, come here and I can show you how to be a rapist too. I mean, he'd probably have a bunch of people jumping on that. But knowing how bad the environment is around his teams, I don't even know if he can get another job anywhere. It's creepy watching him on the Fox podcast or broadcast.
Yep.
I don't know. Well, Urban Meyer's an enigma to me. He's kind of like A-Rod, except he's done it multiple times now, and we'll see what happens again. I don't know. But Urban Meyer, I could see that. It would still make me dislike them. And then I can't remember. Who else did you guys bring up last night? There was one other one I just giggled at, but I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember who else off the top of my head.
Me neither.
You know who a guy who has been a proven winner, won a national championship? They should bring in Gene Chizik. I hear that guy does really well.
Cheese dick. Where's he at now?
I think he's in North Carolina right now with Mac Brown.
Yes,
again.
That's what it was. Yep.
So
he can't go there and win because he doesn't have national championship players already on the team that he inherits.
Yeah, but now he can buy them legally. That's the point. He already knew how to do it shady. Now he can buy them legally. National Championship Cornhuskers 2025, maybe? I don't know.
Yep.
If he knew how to do it shady, why didn't he do it when he was at Iowa State?
Slim Shady.
He did bring in some solid recruits for us. The next few years after he did leave, we had AJ Klein. We had some solid players.
Mm-hmm. So before we started talking about Nebraska, it got interrupted. Before I leave real quick, I first of all want to say congratulations, and I hate that this has turned into like a you guys lost or you guys didn't win this game, Iowa lost type of thing, because I hate that. Iowa State definitely won this game. They played their asses off. They shut down that offense and still put up 10 points on that defense. That defense is really fucking good. So yeah, kudos to Iowa State. How does this feel for Iowa State? Does it feel like a big win, or does it feel like we snuck one out? And
I think Trent, you go first.
I feel like it feels like a big win because we came into Kinnick, which is a tough environment against Iowa's defense, and found a way to win. Whereas in past, we wouldn't have found a way to win that game. Right. And Iowa would have won 8 straight now, not 7. So I feel good about it. I feel good going forward. We beat Ohio this week, and then we got Baylor the next week. And I mean, I think we're right there right now with Baylor. I mean, they lost last week. So that beating Iowa, no matter how bad their offense is, I feel better about the season right now.
Good. Bryant?
Yeah. I mean, that's where I'm at as well. If we didn't have a punt blocked and you start a drive on the 15-yard line and have tremendous momentum at that point, you guys don't score that game, to be honest. I mean, so, I mean, it took 2 blocked punts, 3 turnovers to even be that close. I mean, and some of that was my one worry right now is Hunter's progressions. He basically gets the ball snapped and where's X? Where's X? X isn't available, and he doesn't go to his second, third, fourth reads at this point. So I'm a little worried about where that goes, but if we can get that corrected versus Ohio and we can get that confidence going, maybe get some more receivers, involved in the game plan, I think again, Baylor's going to be a tough out the first game, but like I said, I feel all right with saying, confidently 7-5. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good where if we can sneak a couple ones and get those 50-50 games going our way, I think we can go 8-4 and 9-3, and you're still going to have your tough Oklahoma State, Texas. Kansas State will be a tough one. That's always tough with the rivalry, and their defense is amazing as well. But I say Kansas is a downgraded Iowa just by their defense isn't as good. Their offense is a little bit better, but I mean, I think we do just fine at that point.
Yep. I'm glad that you guys both said that, because more than anything, I wanted you guys to. All right. Before he starts, I got to get out of here. So peace out.
Yep.
See you guys later. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate you joining, Joey.
Bye, Joey.
Bye.
Put Clark on the big screen here.
Yeah, let's just get this big old fucking cowboy hat here. There
we
we
need
go.
that. Oh, yeah. Oh, who's behind you, Clark?
Why, that's the legend himself, Coach Bill Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought that was Montgomery Burns from The Simpsons.
No, that is incorrect, Trent.
Sorry.
I'm here to bring you up to date on the best football team from Kansas, them Wildcats.
Pittsburgh State? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wichita State doesn't have a football team. What are you talking about?
The hell are you talking about?
Hutchinson Community College?
Get your Kansas State shit. Just get Ema out of here. Come on.
Every man a Wildcat, Bryant. We talking about them purple little puss kitties out of Manhattan.
Uh-huh.
Emo.
And that's right. They took down one of them SEC foes, the Mizzou Tigers, this last weekend. Hey,
they're technically in the SEC. Yes, I agree.
Yes, they are. They count. That is an SEC victory.
The only thing less than them is Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Vandy's hot. Vandy's good. You watch out.
Okay.
Yeah, Vandy, I would say at least they're scoring some points. Missouri, they're collecting that paycheck. That's for sure. Every week they're collecting that paycheck.
Dang
So,
right.
So who's K-State got this weekend?
They're bringing Tulane to town, bringing them up from the Bayou.
The Green Wave, huh?
Yep.
Isn't that
Yeah.
Tulane?
Them Wildcats, they happen to be 14 and a half advantage.
Wait.
Let's go.
How
Let's go.
big you gonna beat them?
Well, because that old quarterback came over from Nebraska. I don't know if you heard of Adrian Martinez. He ain't thrown a touchdown yet. I don't know. You know,
Yeah, I was just because.
But they got the Deuce, and the Deuce knows how to get them tutters. So let's go.
Don Play over here is in New Orleans, which is where Tulane is. He does not agree with you right now.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
I'm with
Does he
Don.
think Tulane's just going to cover?
Yeah, Tulane minimum covers. I think they upset Kansas State.
probably outright money line, baby.
I don't see the money line happening. I mean, last week they were dealing with monsoon there in Manhattan, and they still got it done. You know, they did work, but it's going to be dry land this week. Them old green waves, they're just going to fizzle out.
No
I don't know if
hurricane.
you noticed, but here in Kansas, we got drought. That water is needed. Let's go.
They're happy when it rains.
That's right. Put that in the earth. Grow
I
some
like
wheat.
it. Well, best of luck, Mr. Ema. How about that?
Thank you, sir.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Mr.
From
Ema,
one
you go
farmer to
get,
another. Tip of the hat.
you get that swather out and you'll get those crops out of the ground.
Yeah.
Emo.
Tip of the cap to you. Oh shit. Christ.
Oh my.
Fucking new character every week. I'm it's starting to grow on me now though.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Well, I would say we'll kind of power through these games from last week. I would say Fun Belt had themselves a fucking day. I couldn't believe. I would say first off, like it was one of these like when you're drinking all day, all of a sudden you realize like that game was today. That game was today. Like the App State one, I remember happened early, and you're like, okay, that was crazy. And then fucking Marshall, blew Notre Dame out. No, this Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame, he's 0-3 to start at Notre Dame.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember or not, but yeah, they're one of my college football playoff picks.
Yeah. Marshall, oh shit, Notre Dame, yeah.
2 out of my 4 college football playoff picks are right down here. Texas A&M and Notre Dame not doing too good right now.
Yeah.
Did you see the video? I don't know where Appalachian State is.
Boone, North Carolina.
Okay. Well, did you see the video of after the game? It was like their Welch Avenue or whatever their bar scene street is. The fans coming from both ways, and it's just a huge wave of people just partying. And how awesome would that have been?
Dude, that is. I mean, that is college football to a fucking. This is. I just found the video. I'm gonna get it shared here in a couple seconds. But that is what fucking college football is about, man. Like, yeah, it's literally a storm here of them running down this fucking street. Let's see if we can get it shared here.
Yes, I love it.
But yeah, they're just.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Well, sideways, but you can see how many fucking
sideways
people are going bananas there.
Yeah, like that is better than any field storming ever because it's not at home. It just happens randomly in your town, in the college that it happens at. It just looked fun as hell. But yeah, I mean, they took down Texas A&M, like I said, number 6 in the nation. One of my 4 college football playoff teams. So.
Well, they got time to come back. I don't have them. I have this upcoming weekend when we get to some picks. I got Miami plays in College Station. So that's the one thing they got going on that's in their favor is they've played at home the last 3 weeks. They haven't even left their freaking stadium. So
yeah,
They can keep having their. I would show the DMCA of the video of them having their midnight yell tradition, but I don't want the pod taken down here because apparently they're striking that thing down on Twitter all the time. It's like,
Oh, really?
yeah. So like,
I watched it. I didn't know it was getting taken off Twitter.
yeah, they keep taking it down, and it's like, have you not heard of anything on the internet that like it's called the Streisand effect? But when you try and hide something purposely and people know about it, it's just going to bring 10 times the attention than just owning it and going, yeah, we called them hillbillies, and then they kicked our ass, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, no, I don't know. College Station is so fucking weird, dude, with their yell leaders and stuff. So couldn't happen to a better group of kids. But yeah, Notre Dame. I was kind of hoping Marcus Freeman would start a little bit better over there, but I don't know. No skin off my nose. Anytime you can have a huge upside like that, it's always funny.
That's what I love. Like Downplay said it, that's college football, and I love that about college football. There's a lot of parity.
Mhm.
I love seeing the little guy win. I love it. Like that just doesn't happen in the NFL. There's all the teams are very equal.
Yeah,
but in college, this kind of stuff happens, and it's awesome.
There's been a lot more parity between, and why I want this, why I think this 12-team playoff is going to be so amazing is
Yes.
Georgia, yes, they are up here. You can't even see them. Bama right below them. They had a tough game this weekend, but Texas played their ass off. And then you kind of have your Clemson didn't look too great versus Georgia Tech, and Oklahoma's looked good but not great versus Kent State. And all of a sudden these 3 to 12, you can kind of probably interchange them, and it's a lot closer, I think, than people either want to admit or realize.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too. With 12-team playoff and the parity in college football, you're going to get some upsets, and they're going to go on. So the top 4 teams in the college football playoff, when it comes to 12, are going to probably have a bye. And then there's going to be upsets, and then those guys are going to go play the big guys. Now, they might not win, but there was upsets in the first round. So that just makes it more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, again, like honestly, it's almost like it feigns giving Iowa State our one miracle year a chance. It gives Iowa with a solid defense but no offense. That's when they shine, is in those big games when all of a sudden the other team hasn't played a championship defense like Iowa's had in the last few years. But then, and maybe their offense actually gets their head out, this year. Or, I mentioned some of the crazy teams that have been ranked, 5 to 12 the last 7 years or so. I mean, the biggest culprit one where I would have loved to see is TCU and Baylor the first playoff. Those teams are scoring 60 every freaking week, and then TCU goes from 3 to an unprecedented drops to 6 after a 52-point victory. So, I mean, we've been bitching long enough. The product was stale. And is the small dog going to win every year? God, no. But
No.
There's a chance. There's a chance, and that's all you need in college football.
And the thing that excites me the most is that first round, they're going to be on campus. Could you imagine 2 years ago, Iowa State, when they won the Fiesta Bowl, if that game would have been on campus and they're in the college football playoff? Like, that would have been awesome.
Imagine an Iowa State had to host. We were supposed to play USC, and they ended up not. But we're hosting an Oregon or a USC. They have to come to Ames, Iowa, and see us hillbillies drinking Busch Light in the lots.
ULA college football players have fun coming to Ames in the middle of December.
Yeah, they're going to be asking where the hell the tall buildings are at. They can see everything for a country mile.
Yeah, and why are all these people standing outside? It's 25 degrees out.
Yeah, all of them. I would say all of them are standing outside. Half of them are carrying cases of Busch Light. Half of them don't have their shirts on at that point.
No. If you're probably right. If the college football playoff ever hosts a game in Ames, Iowa, that's spot on.
So, did you? I would say I posted a few scores at the bottom there. Alabama had a close game to Texas, 20-19. BYU squeaked one out in overtime versus Baylor, 26-20, and then Tennessee was the other big game that we previewed. They won 37-27 versus Pitt this last weekend. The biggest one I really wanted to talk about was Bama quick. I mean, I thought that was an outrageous game.
Yeah, I really didn't see any of it. Again, I was on vacation. I was fishing up in northern Minnesota the past week. So I didn't really get to watch a whole lot of college football besides the Iowa State-Iowa game. But heard a lot about the Alabama-Texas game. It's close. Texas probably should have won that game from what I'm hearing. There were some controversial calls. Texas quarterback gets hurt. A lot of things going on there. I wish I would have got to see that though.
Yeah, that was Saban. Saban in his 15 years at Alabama, he's finally in true non-conference games. He's finally 3-0. He's played 3 true away games. Is that insane?
Wow, that's
And
a big number.
I would say, and I think if you look at the last few games versus Alabama, or Alabama has played, I mean, they're super tight games too. I mean, that's where I'm talking about, like this this elite status. It's starting to get a parity. They always have the target on their back, and Saban always gets them through to the victory. But that one was a little controversial. Quinn Ewers, I hate how good he was looking in that game. Their defense looks fucking legit. They got speed. They were making Bama panic and earn that victory there. They seem, and what I've heard as well, they seem a little undisciplined. You know, Saban usually has them in line and very penalty free, but they were kind of making a lot of silly mistakes that kind of kept Texas in it as well.
Now, do you think, I mean, it's the second game of the season, you have to think that Saban gets that right. Like he gets that turned around, that undisciplined defense. Like he'll turn that around.
I think so as well, but it's just weird seeing a Saban team as undisciplined as this one has been so far this year.
Yeah.
So I think he does get it turned around here. I would say you said you didn't really watch any other college football this weekend. I would say we won't go through the other two then. I really didn't catch too much of the Tennessee. I was too busy celebrating the sloppiest game I've ever seen in my life with that Iowa State game. I wish I knew how to look up a lot of like great advanced analytics, because that has to be the only team in history that's won with 2 blocked kicks or punts blocked and 3 field goals. It just has to be, man. There's maybe in 1903, someone has done
maybe one other, maybe.
But yeah, just a fucking dirty one. Well, the one thing I did, I don't know if you've looked at if you give you a couple seconds so you can pull up the AP top 25 here. And this is just going to be me a little pouty Big 12 fan here, but I would say it just, I swear, man, we talked about it a little bit last week with Florida jumping up. And this is the self-fulfilling prophecy that I always talk about year after year. People just say, quit complaining. And I agree. If I want my team, Iowa State or any one other team, you just have to keep winning to keep going up. But this is the issue that I have. I'm going to share the ESPN screen so we can just see the top 25 and kind of go over it together here, make sure it's pulled up here. But, Georgia makes sense. They gained a lot of votes. They went up. Bama, Bama was a close loss, but they stay up there.
Yep.
You kind of going down. Kentucky jumped 11 spots up to 9th in the country after a win over a very, immediately 12th ranked Florida team, where that Anthony Richardson went from looking like Heisman hopeful to he kind of just shit the bed in this game. He looked like he did a lot last year. But Kentucky jumps because they beat a good Florida team. Arkansas legit. I would say that one they jumped up, but they had a good win here. But going down, Tennessee went up, good win. But Florida only dropped 6 because they had a tough SEC loss. So they jump up super high, but they don't drop out after one loss.
Yeah.
And this is probably the most egregious. Texas A&M loses to App State at home. They only won 31-0 to Sam Houston State. You were preseason number 6 SEC team. They should not be ranked. But that is the issue that we see in this is these teams that get the benefit of the doubt, they just stay in the rankings. Oregon slipped back into 25 there, but it just feels like when the SEC wins, it's a huge win. When they lose, they're barely dropping off because then it's considered good losses, and that's where you see A&M at the end of the year still ranked 8th at 8-4.
Yeah. So Texas A&M drops to 24. It's just like How do we get them just enough votes to keep them in the top 25?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that feels like.
And keep the Miami at Texas A&M game legit. The other ones that I saw, hold on, I'll have to pull it up. I won't pull it back up on the screen here. But Notre Dame dropped out of the rankings. Notre Dame is still getting votes. Notre Dame is getting 23 votes still, and they just lost to Marshall, man. Like,
Yeah.
I swear half of these guys that are voting in the AP top 25, they just have it pre-filled out before the end of the day. Oh, Notre Dame lost. Well, we'll drop them 10 spots, but I guarantee there's still some people out there. Notre Dame was ranked 8th. I bet you there's still to have them at least in the top 15,
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what they do. They just are going to vote them because they want to vote them,
So the AP here, 21 Texas, they were not ranked.
They go from Texas is the only team that can go. That was a tough loss. That was a very good game.
But still, you're not ranked and you lose and you go to 21.
That's the beast, the nature of the beast here, dude.
Come on, you lose and you jump into the top 25 after losing.
Yeah, that was the one. It pissed me off when I first saw it. I do get that one because they played tough, but like you look at Utah, how far have they dropped? Utah is at 14 still, and they lost in a true road game by 3 points at Florida, which is considered, if not top 5, top 10 toughest places to play in the country, and you drop them so fucking hard. But Texas A&M loses at home. Yeah, we'll keep them in the top 25. Fuck it.
That's just my thing, though. Like, it's Texas. If that were anybody else, if you're 1-0 going into a game versus Alabama, you're unranked, anybody else, and you lose, you're not jumping in the top 25.
Maybe
No
you get a few
way.
pity votes, but
it's just crazy to me.
So I don't think I'm going to have enough time to try and find it. I was just trying to scan here quick to see if I could see who had the highest ranking for Notre Dame in this last polls, but all it's going to do is piss me off if I actually do find it. So I'd say we'll kind of move on from that. And again, we'll probably bitch about it week to week, but we know this is going to be a solved problem soon enough. They keep losing, they drop out. It's only week 2, but guess what? We have a podcast to overreact and hear ourselves yell and cry. So deal with it.
It's what we're here for. Get used to it.
So, but we'll jump here to the true good old boys, the Heartland teams.
Yes,
that line has been moving quite a bit in the Iowa State Ohio game, and it keeps moving in not in our betting favor, but in Iowa State's favor, that they're becoming heavier favorites here.
Okay. It did start at over 20, and then it dropped to 17. Now it's at 18, right?
Oh, I guess I must have missed it at the beginning here. Let me see the line movement. But yeah, right now, sorry, for those that are listening, the Ohio Bobcats are 18-point underdogs at Iowa State this weekend. You're right. It dropped from 21 to 18. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about that. I think Iowa State has a pretty good shot at covering that one, too.
I do, too. People think, Iowa State's offense looked anemic against Iowa last week. Now it did. Iowa's defense is pretty damn good. It was a freaking torrential downpour. I think Iowa State's offense is who we saw in week 1. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Iowa's defense is good.
Yeah. Like we said, if they had a top 80, 90 offense, they'd be 2-0, not even question. They'd be top 25 ranked right now.
100%.
They'd be in instead of an Oregon or a Texas A&M, but all of these fringe teams keep losing. So, yeah, I think this week, and again, I hope we see Campbell of week 1 where he doesn't take his foot off the pedal. We need to really get this confidence in Decker here. I think Jaleel, he's going to have another 100-yard game. I might have to look to find that prop to see what that's at, but he's at back-to-back. 100 versus that Iowa defense that, and again, they are extremely tough, and he was able to pound out some good runs, and that line had a lot of decent pancake blocks, which Joey, if it wasn't a Cyclone, would love. But, I mean, I just think the one thing that concerns me is I hope they open up the playbook just a little bit and get Hunter used to. Honestly, it might be useful to have a couple series where X is injured and just take him out. And what are you going to do when he's not in there? Are we going to find the tight ends that have been wide open? Are we going to find the other receivers? I mean, I just think we need to get away from X only in the aspect of in case he's not there and not become too reliant on him.
Yeah. And, there's been some injuries and stuff as well. But I think one of the huge injuries is the freshman running back, Cartavius Norton. He came out with a hammy in the first game versus Southeast Missouri State.
Yep.
I hope that injury is not bad. I want him to come back because in what little we saw him, he looked like a beast as a true freshman running back in big time college football. Everything coming out of camp was like, the dude's a freak. He's just running over everybody. So I hope he gets healthy and gets back. Maybe we get to see him this week again against a lesser opponent. So we'll see. So, I want him to get healthy going into Big 12 play.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we do see him this week.
I think that's the most important part. This is just a tune-up game to get ready for Baylor. You don't want to show them too much, but you also have to have this offense ready. I think I was going to be probably actually Oklahoma State, I think, has dropped off just a little bit. I think Kansas State's going to be up there in toughest defense. Oklahoma State's dropped off. I just said that. Texas is probably going to be the other one, but I think we've played probably the toughest defense, I guess, that we're going to play all year. So I think if we can get this offense going and we can make sure we score some points, our defense is going to do what they need to. I'm honestly, after that one win versus Iowa, we've got the monkey off our back. I'm starting to feel really good about, can we be 4-0, get starting into the season, get on top of the Big 12. And then, at that point, I think high school football coach said, you won the first game. You're at the top of the conference. All you got to do is keep winning. As simple as that was, and it clicked. It's like, oh shit, we don't have to uphill climb and hope others lose. Just take care of your business. And it feels like, I don't know, right now I feel like Iowa State can do that with anyone right now.
Yep, totally agree.
So, and then Iowa, I put that in wrong. Nevada is 23-point underdogs at Iowa here. Kirk sticking with Petrus. I think Iowa gets it put together here. With Nevada. They've lost to UMass. They lost to Incarnate Word. Their wins are not versus great teams. I think Iowa takes them to the woodshed. I put in an under for 39 points on that one. I think it goes under because I think Iowa probably scores 28, 31, 35 points. But I think Nevada scores 0. I think they're going to put a goose egg. I think after Cyclone's beating them in their own home turf, I think they're going to take them to the woodshed and really take their frustrations out on a Nevada team.
So what's the over under 39?
Yeah, 39.5.
And you went under?
I went under until I see that thing go over.
Good bet.
So I don't know. Hell, man, I'd say if you guys want to follow me for my bets and my reasonings, join me on Action Network. It's at Homer Bryant. I went 4-1 in the last weekend for college football, and then I went 3-1 in NFL just for the money picks. I would say we also have the Road to 272, which at this point, when this is released Thursday, it should have come out as well on Thursday. So I went 12-4. Trent, I think you went 8-7. I think
8-6. I had a push. Right?
You had a push. Yeah, so I mean, we've had some winning records. So if you guys are looking to getting some betting, or just want to join along with us, I would say that's another great one for our betting stuff. But I definitely think Iowa State covers, Iowa goes under, just for the two bets in these games.
This has nothing to do with college football, but it felt pretty good yesterday afternoon, knowing even if the Broncos lose, I'm still up on the week.
Right? I'm up I only bet $5 at a time because I'm a puss. But I felt pretty good. I was up before the Broncos lost. I was up like $28. I was like, geez, that's like winning it's like winning 8 of your 9 bets at that point. So
yeah, and I was only up I can't remember, less than $5, but I'm betting $5 a game just on money lines.
Yeah.
So I'm not making a bunch of money, but I'm losing $5 if I don't get that right. So some of these games I'm only winning $1.25 off a $5 bet. So
I got some buddies. I don't know if they just come from money, but they just go. They hit a couple one gamers. They put in $30 for a game on two teams they've never seen. They might get lucky and hit, and then they just go. You know what? $60 on a 3-game parlay. I'm like, are these people getting the $5 at most? If I win, great. If I win, who cares? If I lose, who cares?
Yep.
And no parlays. One team always fucks it up. That's how it goes.
Unless you're Clark betting 9-leg parlays.
Yeah, he was just a bit outside on that one.
I was rooting for him, man. I wanted him to win that so bad.
Yeah, that would have been pretty good. $5 or $10 to win 7,000. Yeah, that would have been a hell of a good one. But I would say that this is not all of the great games. I had one more, I think, here. But if you're watching live on YouTube, we got Oklahoma. They're 11 point favorites at a new coached Nebraska. Do you happen to know who the interim coach for Nebraska is?
Couldn't even tell you.
Give me 1 second, because I heard a different, an interesting stat. I just want to make sure I get his name correct. Mickey Joseph is going to be the interim coach at Nebraska here for this, for I guess the rest of the year. Mickey Joseph is the first black coach in Nebraska history. Not football, all sports. The first black head coach at the University of Nebraska. It's 2022. I mean, BYU has had a black coach. I mean, I'm just trying to think of like the widest universities, and where like Nebraska, this is the first one. That's just insane, man.
that is a stat I never would have thought I heard. But these teams, they're only an 11-point underdog. When you get these teams coming into a game, they have an interim coach. It seems like they rally around that coach and play well.
Mm-hmm.
Was it last year Iowa State? Was it Texas Tech? They had an interim coach when they beat Iowa State on this 65-yard field goal or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I think the last time Iowa State team played an interim coach before that was like 10 years ago, and they lost. I can see this. It's 11 point underdog, and who knows? Maybe Nebraska rallies around this. Maybe Scott Frost didn't have this team. I don't know. What am I trying to say here? Maybe
just didn't have him like motivated.
Yeah. Or they weren't rallying around him. Maybe he wasn't a player's coach. Maybe I don't know. Who knows? So I guess we'll see on Saturday how things turn out and how they go forward this season.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I again, Nebraska, we don't have to mess with them and their fans anymore. So I kind of root for them. Whatever. It's just it's Big Ten. But I have an Oklahoma fan who is absolutely adamant. He calls it like the Cy Squawk. We're little brother Iowa State to him because he's a Sooner fan. And he talks about this coveted rivalry that Oklahoma and Nebraska have had in the past, and they have. Do you know what their rivalry is called, or what they play over?
Nebraska and Oklahoma?
Yeah.
I do not, actually.
It's for the Iron Skillet.
Okay.
Which I know that sounds underwhelming, and it is. But he goes, he was just telling me, he goes, well, we're actually playing for, a good trophy. It's the Iron Skillet. And I go, is that a brunch place? What the fuck is the Iron Skillet? Like, because I was talking about, I didn't want to go into Kinnick Stadium with all the beer cans being thrown, which you did see when X caught his touchdown. There was a beer can that was thrown at him at that point. But it just kind of hostile. Don't want to be around some dicks, because especially in that environment when you lose, and if you're wearing Iowa State gear, you're just gonna get shit. Stuff's gonna happen in Iowa City. But I mean, he was going, well, do you think I'd be, do you think I'm worried if I go to the Nebraska game? I go, no, because Nebraska's not been relevant. It's not been a relevant rivalry, because they left the Big 12. And also, Oklahoma's just dominated that series. Probably the last few years, I haven't pulled it up. I can do it if you can give me a couple seconds. I can pull it up on Winsipedia. But like we're acting like Oklahoma at Nebraska because of the past is a huge rivalry. It's going to be a hostile environment. They're coming off of firing their coach here.
Yeah, and the whole, you said throwing beer things. Did you see the Barstool thing
Yeah,
in
that
that
was just,
pregame? Like, holy cow!
that one was a little bit because I know the history that Brandon Walker has.
He was
with
egging it
Iowa.
on.
Yeah, he was egging it on, but it's like, holy shit, dude. Like, I mean, again, like, you can blame it was a bad throw all you want, but you're intentionally throwing full beer cans. You hit a pregnant woman in the head, and like Joey said, and like we agree, there's terrible Cyclone fans. There's good Cyclone fans. There's terrible Hawk fans in that example, and there's good fans like him and Dylan and stuff. But it's just
Yeah,
that one was just so. It's such a bad look because I've listened to their podcast. It's like I got this is juicy. I got to listen to see what they even say about it, and my God, they were just doubling down on like she's talking about I've never had an opinion on you guys. Now I just fucking hate you, because here we are, we're trying to do a college game day. We're trying to make this fun. Oh yeah, egging on. This guy is being a very clear heel to you guys, and you're just chucking full beer cans at people taking time out of their day to make a show for you, So just definitely wasn't the best look for the Hawkeyes there.
yeah.
But give me 1 second. I'll share the screen for the old iron skillet here. By the way, anyone that is watching this, or if you're really interested in college football, I guess Winsipedia is a great website just to look up great information. What we're pulling up here. But I mean, it looks like here Nebraska, Oklahoma's won the last couple. They only won by 7 with Stoops as their coach. That's got to be incorrect. That would have been Riley.
2021.
Yeah, that would have been Lincoln Riley because it would have been during the year.
Yeah, not yes.
Yeah, and then
not
Bob Stoops. But I mean, he's talking about this is an intense rivalry. You've only played how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times since 1997, and you've won a majority of them. That I don't think that creates a super hostile environment. I think that's kind of honestly, it's kind of like how Iowa State was feeling this weekend. We got to just go out and prove it now. If you're Nebraska, I don't think you shit talking. I don't think you're hostile towards your Sooner brethren. I think you just go out and try and prove it.
Yep.
So, Penn State 3-point favorite at Auburn. I think Penn State covers that one. BYU 3.5-point underdog at 25 Oregon, and then 13 Miami is a 5-point underdog at 24 Texas A&M. You got any thoughts on those?
So the BYU Oregon game, I do have some thoughts on that. Like BYU, They've looked pretty good. Oregon absolutely got throttled in week 1 by Georgia, and they're still a 3.5 favorite here against BYU. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't know. I like BYU in that just because when Oregon played a team that was good, they were awful. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out.
That one, I think it's a fair assessment. When you're at home, you pretty much get a 3-point, bump. So I mean that's kind of a pick 'em at that point. Yep. As much as we've just shit on them, again, their one loss is to Georgia, and I just looked it up. This last weekend they won 70-14. They've got momentum. They're feeling good about themselves now, beating up on an Eastern Washington. Yeah. So I didn't feel confident on that one. The one I put money on, I think Miami covers that 5-point spread versus Texas A&M. I think they got a good shot at even winning that one, but I think either way it's going to be a good fight. That'll be a good indication because Joey said Miami's going to be back. You got to prove it now. A true road game versus a team that has a lot of off-field distractions with all this stuff going on in College Station. I think Miami covers. I'm very close to saying they win it, though.
I would agree with you. I mean, I gave Texas A&M the kiss of death by putting them in my college football playoff. So you might as well just say Miami covers and probably wins.
Yeah. I think Penn State covers that 3 as well. That will be a tough one down there. I don't know. Something about that Penn State team. It's just Big Ten. I would say it's always going to be ground and pound, grind it out. They got a very veteran quarterback with Sean Clifford there. So I don't know. I think if I had to choose, Penn State covers, but might be interesting. I might want to start getting into some over unders. I was hitting those pretty good in the NFL last week. So, but honestly, other than that, I'd say we kind of flew through this last little bit since Joy wasn't in. You got any final thoughts on this, bud?
Just looking forward to, like, say, it's the Homer Cyclone pod here without Joey,
Yep.
bringing us down a notch. Just looking forward to Iowa State playing Ohio, getting a little tune-up game, hopefully, and ready for Big 12 play. So, and then we can get into conference play. We don't have these big blowouts and all that. Games will be a little bit closer. And I'm not just talking about Big 12. I'm talking about every conference. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think this is the get it right game for Ohio, or I'm sorry, for Iowa State over Ohio. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I just, like I said, my confidence has been growing every day. Pretty soon my head's not going to be able to fit through the door frame here, feeling that much love about Iowa State. But like I said, we finally got the freaking monkey off our back, dude. We don't have to hear about another. It's a Hawkeye State for at least 360 days at this point. So,
yep.
But,
totally agree with you there.
But I'd say I guess we do appreciate everyone joining us here. Don, we appreciate you joining live. I know it was a different day today, but we're going to try and keep doing it on Thursdays as much as possible. If you do watch it on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, let us know if we're doing anything right, wrong. If you want to hear about some teams, I know Don's been throwing out a lot of random, spreads on there, and we're, it's kind of fun to see talking about other teams other than, our Homer teams, but we will definitely continue on with the Heartland. But
Don has been asking us about some bets, over unders, some money lines and stuff, and I don't know. Hopefully, we're making him some money.
Yeah, I would say I think we've been doing pretty darn good actually the first few weeks here, but yeah, like I said, also I put on Action Network at Homer Bryant if you're looking for any picks on there, but otherwise, just our normal socials for the pod is going to be Instagram, Twitter at Heartland Pulse. And then Facebook, YouTube, just Pulse of the Heartland. But otherwise, like I said, like, subscribe, share with your friends. We do appreciate every listen that we can, and we'll keep on grinding. All right.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. We'll see you later, Bryant.
Appreciate you guys.